On my very first day moving into the lake cabin I had just bought for nearly $500,000, the cops showed up 8 times. 8 times in 36 hours. Not because I threw a party or broke into someone's house, but because I dared to move my own furniture into my own home. That's when I realized my new neighbor, the self-proclaimed queen of the HOA, was about to turn my fresh start into a battlefield, and she had no idea I was ready to fight back. My name's Anthony Hayes. I'm 35, fresh off the ugliest divorce you could imagine, and when I signed those closing papers, I thought I was buying peace. $450,000 for a cabin on Lake Haven Estates, a private dock. Quiet mornings, the whole dream. Saturday at 8 a.m. Movers parked the truck in my driveway while I stood there sipping coffee, telling myself, "This is it, Anthony, you're finally free." Then, the demon in a pink bathrobe stormed across the street. Hair in curlers clutching a clipboard like it was a scepter. She screamed, "This is a private community. Do you know who I am?" Before I could answer, she was on the phone with 911 reporting suspicious intruders stealing property. 10 minutes later, an officer arrived, checked my deed, told her everything was legal. I thought that would shut her down. Wrong, that was just her warm-up. By the end of the weekend, she had called the cops 8 different times. My movers, thieves. My car, a surveillance vehicle. Me in a kayak on the lake, a violent trespasser. Then she planted a giant laminated sign at the shore. Lakefront access, restricted HOA permit required, $1 per month. I pulled county records on my phone right there, public waterway. Didn't matter. She squared her shoulders, smirked, and hissed. "You'll regret moving here. I've driven others out before." That line others lodged in my brain like a splinter. Who were these others and why had they left? Days later, the harassment escalated. HOA violation letters for nonsense. My deck chair out of compliance, my music community disturbance. Then the sabotage started. One morning, all 4 tires on my car were flat, my kayak was slashed open, and my garden was dead from some kind of industrial weed killer. As I stared at the wreckage, she came strutting over. "Accidents happen to people who defy this community," she whispered. "Ask the Johnsons why they left overnight." That night, I almost packed my bags. I lay there in bed thinking maybe I'm the fool here. Maybe I should cut my losses, sell this place, walk away. What if she really can destroy me? What if fighting her only makes it worse? I've never felt smaller, more alone than I did in that moment. But then Tom knocked on my door. Vietnam vet lived 2 houses down. He handed me a stack of invoices from a fake company, Lakefront Maintenance Services LLC, demanding $80 a month for lake upkeep nobody ever saw. He shook his head, bitter laugh. "She's been milking us for years. Families left because they couldn't take it anymore. Don't let her win." That lit something in me. More neighbors began to open up. A grandmother whose grandson was banned from playing outside because Marilyn called the cops on a 6-year-old. A family fined $500 for having garden gnomes. Tom himself written up for flying the American flag. Every story, the same question: her authority get harassed until you give up or move. This wasn't a cranky neighbor. This was organized intimidation. I'm a fraud investigator by trade. I knew exactly what I was looking at. So I called someone I trusted, Agent Wilson, FBI. Years ago, we cracked a corporate scam together. I told him what was happening. He paused, then said, "Anthony, send me everything. We've been watching Marilyn for months. You may have just given us the last piece we need." That's when I knew I wasn't crazy. I wasn't alone. And for the first time since moving in, I felt the fire to fight. We gathered in Tom's garage, 23 families, stacks of papers, photos, recordings. The fear in that room was thick, but so was the hope. We finally had each other. Marilyn must have sensed it. She called the cops again, ranting about a terrorist cell plotting overthrow. The officer rolled his eyes, warned her one more false call, and she'd be the one in cuffs. So she sent her goons instead. Middle of the night, my cameras caught them slashing, spraying, stomping through my property. Clear as day, faces on video. The next morning, she walked up while I filmed the damage. Accidents. Hayes, she sneered, happened to troublemakers. Remember the Johnsons? That recording went straight to the FBI. And then came the morning everything flipped. Black SUVs, flashing lights agents swarming 4 properties at once: her house, the fake office, her accountant brother-in-law, and the thugs' homes. From my porch, I watched the raid unfold. Neighbors poured out whispering cheering under their breath. Inside her living room, Marilyn was holding an emergency HOA meeting clipboard in hand when they slapped cuffs on her. She shrieked, "I protect this community. This is government persecution. I demand to see your manager." The irony was almost too perfect. Her empire collapsed with one set of handcuffs. Agents found everything. Hundreds of invoices, shell companies, $177,000 in stolen fees, surveillance logs on every family, threats, false legal documents. A criminal enterprise hiding in plain sight, dressed up as a homeowners association. The community exhaled for the first time in years. Kids splashed in the lake without fear. Tom finally cast a fishing line from his dock. I stood there looking out over the water, remembering my first morning, thinking I was buying peace only to be met with chaos. And now, watching her dragged away, I realized I had helped end not just my nightmare, but everyone's. Sometimes bullies look powerful because no one dares to push back. But the second someone stands up, their whole kingdom of lies comes crashing down.